Camera 2. Rolling. 3. Rolling. Late.
Take 1. Camera 1. Camera 2. Camera 3.
Hello, Mr. Jones.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Take a seat, please. Okay. Thank you for coming to meet with me. My name is Elizabeth Rose. Let's just get right into the questions. How was your childhood?
It was good. It was a calm, peaceful childhood filled with church going. Went to Mass 8 a.m. every Sunday. Try to stay there 2 hours after, get there 2 hours before. Help out however we can.
And how were your parents in your childhood?
They always made sure that we were at church on time or early if we could, if our schedule allowed it. They were always putting church before everything, putting God before everything, putting faith before everything. Made sure first thing I did when I woke up was praying. Before I slept, I had to pray. Before we ate, I had to pray. Before anything that I should be thankful for, I had to pray.
And did you have any hobbies?
My parents didn't really allow time for hobbies. It was just putting God before us at all times. They believe that no person should have time for hobbies. It should be God-focused. Every day should be a day only for God, not just Sunday. Every day, every hour, every minute.
Do you think perhaps they cared too much about God and their religion?
I think towards the end of their lives, they didn't care enough about God. They didn't care enough about their religion. They should have tried harder, kept their faith strong.
Were you particularly interested? Do you think it was a supernatural obsession that your family and you had with religion?
I think that I was chosen by God, not my family, just me. I was chosen because my family, they chose to go to God, but God chose to show himself and make himself heard by me.
And what do you mean by chosen? How was he heard by you? What do you mean by that?
He would show me visions, tell me things, show me what people are doing is wrong and disobeying him, and what they're doing is wrong and how they should be punished, how they should suffer.
And do you think that this had anything to do with the crimes that you later committed in life?
I think it might have exposed me to the true version of God, and it exposed me to his complete, unfiltered voice.
What do you mean by complete, unfiltered voice?
He would tell me whatever he actually truly wanted, whether it be dreams, visions, anything. He would just tell me what he wanted, and I would make sure that I did it to make God happy.
And what dreams or visions would you see that you think God would tell you?
He would show me people disobeying him, not living up to their vows, not listening, not making the right prayers, not praying to him. I saw these people suffering. I saw God letting it happen, or sometimes God doing it. And I saw him joyful, him wanting it to happen, him making sure it happened, him making sure that they couldn't die, that they were alive and felt every bit of pain consciously.
What did you do before you killed them?
Before I killed them, I would keep them chained up behind the boiler in my basement so that they felt the heat on their chains, and that they knew that their life is a living hell. and that what they did, they deserve to pay for it, that they deserve to suffer for it. And then when I killed them, I usually made it fast, make them believe that they paid for their sins, that they paid for what they did wrong, and hopefully that they're in heaven now. Hopefully I help them achieve what they wish.
Nobody ever, suspected anything or saw you being any sort of nervous, or perhaps they never suspected anything at all? Your neighbors, nothing?
Well, why would I be nervous? I have no reason to be nervous. People should only fear God, and I was doing what He asked.
Was there any ritual you would perform after killing the people?
Normally, I would go up to our room or my parents' room, put a big pillow next to the bed, we put a crucifix on the bed, and then we would just pray, recite whatever prayers we wanted to, read from the Bible, making sure that God saw me do what I did, and making sure that He's proud of me.
And did your family ever question this or see? Did they know about the acts that you were committing?
They were fine with it. They would help me hide the bodies. They would help me clean up the mess.
So they knew the entire time?
Yeah. Normally they would help me because they showed me that what I was doing was right, and I told them that God showed me certain things, God told me certain things that other people don't hear.
And they had the same views as you did? They thought that these people deserved it? They believed the same?
They knew I was chosen. They knew that everything I did was just and was what God wanted.
And now, where is your family? What happened to them?
They're with the rest of them. They messed up in their own ways. They weren't listening to God either, and they went just like the other ones that weren't listening.
What was on your mind when doing these acts?
I remember thinking that every victim was disobeying God, and that God wanted them to pay, and that I was doing something good for God, something that would better heaven. His hand was guiding mine. I think He was helping me, giving me the strength to do it. I think He's the reason why I did it, and I feel like everything I did was the right thing to do.
Did you ever stop to think for yourself, is this right? Do you think that it was just what God said? You never thought about what you specifically thought and whether it was wrong or right?
I don't believe that people should be thinking about themselves. Once you put yourself first, then you're putting God behind yourself, and that's just selfish. You should be punished for that.
Did you ever stop to think, about the families of these people that you thought were doing these wrong acts and such? Did you ever stop to think?
I had no remorse. I remember feeling that God wanted me to do it. I think if their families knew what they were doing wrong, if they heard God's voice, I think they would do the same. I think anybody would do the same. I think anybody should do the same.
And specifically, what do you think it is that they were doing wrong, and do you really believe that they deserved?
They were disobeying God. They deserved everything I did to them, every second, every bit of pain, every bit of suffering, everything. They deserved it all.
If you were free, do you think you would still be committing these crimes?
I think as long as there's people that are sinning out there, that I would be committing these crimes, or whatever you want to call them. I think I'd be doing whatever is truly right, and if you don't believe that they're right, then God hasn't spoken to you.
And do you think that God has some sort of future for you?
I have my position in heaven that He's waiting to give me.
That's what He's told you?
Yes. And that's what I truly believe. And all the people that I helped didn't have that position before me, before what I did to them. So they're lucky, and once I get into heaven, they should be thanking me.
You truly think they will thank you?
They should. And if they don't, then they need to repent again.
Do you still feel any kind of need to keep killing people? Do you feel restless now in your position?
If God tells me to take another soul, then I will.
Even though you have now been in prison for how long?
4 years.
You still feel as though God is telling you to
If He
kill
guides my hand,
people?
I'm going to let Him.
Okay. Do you think that someone like you could have been helped? Is there anything that could have been done, before you had any of these murderous thoughts and such?
I don't think I needed help. I think I did what was right, what God wanted, what He asked of me. I don't think there's any help. I think I did what was truly right.
To this day, you still think that you did
To
what
this
was
day.
right?
To this day.
And you think that you need to continue being that perfect child, as you say?
I think I do have to continue to be that perfect child, and I think that every child of God should try to be that perfect child of God.
Okay. That's about all the questions that I have for you today. Again, I'd like to thank you. Do you have any other thoughts that you would like to put out into the world and say anything you need to say? Any last thoughts?
Follow God. Whatever He tells you to do, you should do it. That's it.
Okay.